we start by just telling us a bit about who you are and what Agencia does.
Okay. Are you recording? Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Amelia.
No,
You're slow on the uptake.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Well, morning. So I'm Helen Gibson, and I'm from a company called Agencia, and our work is all around transforming organisations and services and teams, and we're predominantly doing work that is health and social care work and justice, policing and security work, quite a lot of which is UK, but a lot that's international as well. So yeah, interesting work.
So where are you based and what sort of size team are you?
We're based just outside of Hull, Yorkshire, very close to the Humber Bridge, so great place to be. And we've got a team that's a number of us, including family members, but then a whole range of experts and practitioners, including GPs, barristers, so that we're able to actually have the right sort of business expertise and subject matter expertise for whatever it is that we're doing.
So you're a second generation business, aren't you? So your dad founded this and now you and your sister Joy are running it.
Yeah, that's right.
So you've been through succession, yeah. You're working with your sister.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. And I mean, the attraction has always been that it's been our family business. So much as the work is very worthwhile and very interesting and brilliant. For me, it's as much the fact that it's our family business that's why I'm doing it. So yeah, Dad started the company almost 23 years ago now. And today, as you say, we're second generation, working right alongside my sister, who joined us about 3.5 years ago now. So yeah, it's great. And the team is very much a family as well, not necessarily blood ties, but in terms of the relationships.
So tell me how the business has changed over the last couple of weeks and the impact that's had on you as a company.
Yeah, I mean, it's been something, well, for everybody that we've never faced before. So I think it has been something we've been going through uncharted waters and trying to navigate that as best as we possibly can. And our business, as I said, is quite a mix in terms of UK work, but international work. And the sorts of sectors that we're in as well. So yeah, I mean, it's had an initial impact in terms of the practicalities. Obviously, we've had to bring people home from countries where they were working at pretty short notice, and then being in a position where we're trying to continue to deliver those services as well as we possibly can, but obviously from a distance. So from an international point of view, that's been interesting, and also a sort of refocusing of some of the activity we've been doing, particularly to deal with crisis management and business continuity and helping some of those essential services like courts and hospitals to actually keep going. And then closer to home, again, some major impacts really in terms of some of the operational stuff, and we're running a number of healthcare services, so it's been making sure that we've got the right stock and enough to see us through, being able to implement the social distancing measures in pharmacies and that sort of thing. So quite a lot of really practical stuff that has been the focus over the last few weeks.
Okay, and you're working quite a lot of people on the front line, you know, and you're trying to deliver that across the internet or, you know, social distancing measures. So that must have been really challenging, and something that your core business is delivering that in person.
Yeah, and we have obviously had to be pretty creative, very responsive, and yeah, obviously working with partners and clients, patients, to do the very best that we can, and to do what is actually practical, but recognizing that some things actually can't be done with the situation that we've got, but trying to manage that as well as possible. Yeah.
Been tough. Okay, so let's talk about, you know, you as a leader. I mean, you are extraordinary. You know, you've been running this business for many years now, but like you said, no one has ever come up against something like this. So talk to me about how it's affected you as a person and as a leader. Have you found it paralyzing or challenging, or how have you found you've stepped up to it?
I'm not sure I'd say I was extraordinary, Amalia.
Of course you are.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's interesting when you say from a sort of leadership point of view. We actually ran a webinar just the other day about leading through uncertainty, and one of the most interesting things that came out of that is that actually the leadership principles still stand almost whatever the situation is. So yes, we've not faced this before, but we have faced uncertainty before, and reminding ourselves that actually the qualities of a good leader still very much stand. And I think, yeah, that's what I've tried to do. Obviously staying very close with our clients, with our own team members, with other partners that we're working with. So really sort of doing my best to support those relationships, and to be a leader that is encouraging and solution focused, positive, motivating, but also real. So I've done my best to be very open with people about the situation we've got and the challenges that we face, and to not sugarcoat it, to say when I don't know actually what the right thing to do is, or I don't know the answer to this. I've been very clear about that. So yeah, but I guess fundamentally just being there and being ourselves and doing the very best for each other that we possibly can.
And how are you keeping momentum and motivation up from a distance? I mean, that's tough.
I mean, I think we're quite fortunate that the way that our team operates anyway, there are a few of us normally in the office, but a lot are in multiple locations. So we're quite used to being in touch in some quite agile and creative ways. So to some extent, it's not a complete shock to the system for most of us. But we have made extra efforts in terms of being in touch with each other, and doing things. One of the things we did was a sort of afternoon tea party for people, where we didn't talk about work at all, but it was just an opportunity for people to come in and remotely and to sort of have a drink and say cheers and swap notes on life in general. So that was appreciated. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's just trying to do a few creative things like that to mix things up a bit.
What have you found the hardest over the last few weeks?
I think there's been a few things that have been hard. It's been hard in the sense that this seemed to us to have basically come out of nowhere. So we had all of our plans and everything in place, and then suddenly you've got this thing that hits you and has such a major impact. So I think that's been hard to face and to deal with. And I think it has been hard being remote, much as we've done what we can to stay in touch with each other and keep that social side going. We do miss each other, and it's not the same as actually being together, and so that's been hard. And I think just some of the practicalities that we've had to do at short notice, but in a situation where we've not been able to go into places, trying to do that, as I say, getting extra stock, getting different IT things set up, different arrangements for the banking, all sorts of things, but trying to do that from a distance has been hard.
Yeah, really tricky. And so when you have those moments, you might be at the end of the day, or it might be first thing in the morning, and you thought, I'm struggling here. And I think it's safe to say, we can all say we've had some of those moments. What has helped you? What has picked you up? What has made you think, right, come on, we can do this? How have you pulled yourself out of those dark moments?
Yeah, and again, this is just for me personally, it's a number of things. So it's having that faith and confidence that actually there is a way through this. We will navigate. Yes, it's tough, but there's light at the end of the tunnel, and I can see that. Another thing is being alert to new opportunities, and there have been a number for us and for many other businesses, so that's actually quite exciting. I think the other thing is realizing that, ironically, I actually feel that a lot of our relationships have got closer despite being at a distance. We've been able to see people in their pajamas, or see people in their homes, and kids in the background, or I think there's been a greater openness between people that, I think is quite interesting, and will pay dividend in the future.
And have you learned things about yourself or about your business because of this new way of working?
Yeah, and I think we're all learning, and I think one of the tricks is to try and actually nail down that learning and to recognize it. And I mean, I'm actually keeping a list of some of the things and observations, so that post all of this we can go back and say, well, oh, we really should have done this, so it's a really good idea to do that. So yeah, I've got quite a list in the back of my book. So yeah, we're learning all the time, aren't we?
Every day, I would say.
Every day's a school day.
And how you managing your own personal well-being?
And again, I mean, there's so much, isn't there, about how important that is, and I think it's a very personal thing. For me, I'm usually pretty sociable and out and about, and obviously at the moment I'm pretty grounded, so that is hard. So I've been trying to make an extra effort in terms of being in touch with people, the video conferencing and the rest of it. Doing the exercise, of course, and again, I'm normally in the gym quite a lot, and I've really missed that. So yeah, going for runs where I can, and doing the sort of home workouts, disco dancing, and, yeah, and I think rest as well, because again, working at home, it will be very easy to actually work an awful lot more than normal, just because there's not much else to do. But therefore, when it's been Easter and that sort of thing, to make a very clear division that actually this is holiday time, and to switch off.
Yeah, absolutely. So how do you feel about the future?
Well, I'm an optimist. And I say I'm an optimist, but I think there's a real place for being very real as well. So I'm not a sugar-coated optimist, but I do think we are in a position where things are going to be tough for quite some time. It's not, for me, just about getting through this short-term period that we've got right now. It's about being recession-proof. And that is for a much longer period of time, I think, potentially. So yeah, I think it's being optimistic, but also being very real about the challenge that we face and trying to be as prepared as possible to navigate that. So yeah, and again, for us, it's about building up the work which is absolutely essential. So the frontline service work that we do, and having that portfolio that is mixed and diverse and enables us to weather the storm as well as we possibly can do.
Thank you. And okay, so last question. Any advice you give to someone else out there running a family business, maybe thinking, I don't know if I can cope with this, or I'm struggling, I don't know if we're going to get through this? Any little nuggets of wisdom?
I mean, I think it is tough, there's no doubt about it, and I've heard all sorts of stories from friends and colleagues, and we are having to dig deep, no doubt about it. I think one thing for me is to keep sort of looking back at actually what we've got through before, and I know this is different, but probably you will have got through an awful lot of difficult situations before, and actually out of some of those difficult situations there are some real gems to be found. So if you're struggling, I would say, you know, hang on in there, keep the faith, keep looking for the opportunities and the learning that we've got from this situation, and yeah, keep talking to people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Helen.
All right.